Well, I'm CJ Scott, founder and creator of Athletic Spa and Athletic Spa Nutrition. So, how I got started is, man, one, I'm from the west side of Chicago, all right? And so it was all about me being in sports to kind of stay away from that stuff that you mentioned before, all the trouble that can happen to young teens. And so I stayed involved in sports. So basketball, football, baseball as a youth, and then high school, football, wrestling, and track, and then collegiate, I played football.
Nice.
And so I got to a place in my life, it was like either you're going to the league or you're gonna find a way to kind of give back, but you can't stop on your journey. And so for me, it was all about, I got to a place where I knew I wasn't gonna go to the league. I was laying in my bed one day and I was just dealing with injuries. And so I remember laying in the bed, looking up at the ceiling fan and just being like, I'm just not going to make it. I'm just not going to do it. Right now, I'm in so much pain, I can barely turn over in my bed. So that decision right there made me feel like I didn't come this far in my life to just give up. And so I had to find a way from my experience to give back. And so that's what Athletic Spa and Athletic Spa Nutrition it's just been about. It's just how do we give back from the experiences that we went through in life.
So that's great. That's a great start. So what specifically does Athletic Spa do for its customer?
Well, it all depends because through my life journey, like after collegiate, I started training athletes, but that was just a small part of my life. And then I went into actual physical therapy. And so I have a wide range of how I can assess or train a client. And so it all depends on what that client is looking for. So if it's weight loss, we can do weight loss. If it's strength, we can do strength. If it's athletes that's looking to get better or find a competitive edge, we can do that as well. So it all depends on the client.
Depends on the client. So
Yes.
So I was going to ask you, how is what you're doing different than other personal trainers or nutritionists? Like, is it safe to say your background and the passion that you have from previous experiences is how you differentiate yourself from other people?
Absolutely. I got to be careful because I'm part of the fitness community, so I never want to put anyone down, but it is a difference. Personal trainer, a person can go and read a book and get certified and become a personal trainer, right? But then you have somebody that lived these things when it comes to fitness or competitive or just being more active. So when I come across certain people, I don't always just come from a book perspective, but I come from a perspective of I've been in this situation. I know how the body should move and stuff like that, and not just coming from a book, a textbook.
Nice. So when did this like become a thing where this was like, I'm doing this full time with a lot of passion, a lot of energy? Like when was that moment for you?
Man, I would say because as soon as I got done with college ball, I went right into it. So went right into training athletes. So I knew, like that, when I had that conversation with myself and I was laying down, I was like, I got to figure out how I'm gonna give back. At that point, I made the decision. It's like my life experience, I gained too much knowledge not to do it. So, man, what year was that? Man, that was maybe 2008.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been doing it for a while.
Okay. So when you decided that this was the path you was going to go on, what was it about maybe this as opposed to any other thing that you could have possibly got into with your background?
Okay, so I went to school for entrepreneurship. So it kind of just fell
So
together.
it fit.
Right? So it fit. It was like, okay, I went to school, and you hit a story a lot, all the time. Like, I went to school, got a degree, and I'm not even using that degree. And so I didn't want to be that person. So I was like, man, let me do entrepreneurship. And so the funny story is, like, I created my business plan, and I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it, what it was going to be. I just know I wanted to give back, and it was just heavy on my mind and my heart, right? And so when I went to bed one night, I just woke up with this idea. And I tell people all the time, this is not my idea, it was God sent. And so that's one of the things that I feel like is just kind of keeping me grounded in it, because I know it's not just my own thoughts, my own vision. It came from a higher source.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
In your business and when you're working with clients, do you have anything in particular that you like look forward to doing? Like, is it one particular service, one particular, or let me ask it this way: who is your ideal client?
Well, I kind of answered the first question, right? The first thing I'm really looking to do is to educate the consumer.
So you're more passionate about the education part.
Yeah,
Got it.
that's important. That's very important, because people come in with different ideas from past experience working with other trainers, or just what a friend might have said about nutrition or what they read about nutrition. So it's always trying to find a common ground on where they're at in their fitness journey, and then where I can meet them and kind of guide them towards their goals. Because that's why they came in the first place, for me to kind of help them and guide them. So it's just trying to find that common ground where they're at.
Yeah. So how does it work out when you maybe meet somebody, they want to get right into just only the fitness of just tell me what to do, and they want to get right to it, but they're not really interested in the learning how the body functions?
Well, that's a majority of the clients. Majority of clients just want to do the fitness part of it. They just want to train, because that can be the easiest part. The hardest part is what you put into your body, changing that. So a person, they can work out, they go to the gym like 5 days a week and never change, right? And so, but they can do the treadmill, they can do the elliptical, they can do the resistance training, they can do that. But when it comes to eating, that's the hardest thing.
Do you think that people try to outwork a bad diet?
I think they try to outwork a lot of many things, a lot of different things, right? I mean, it could be a way for them to make escape for a moment from just high stress in the workforce. It could be a lot of different things. And so that's the conversation where, when I say you got to find out where they at in their fitness journey, it's really not so much the weight room, it's more of what's outside of it.
Yeah.
That really has the most effect on a person, what they're dealing with on a day-to-day.
Okay. So you sound extremely passionate about the education part and really meeting the person where they at to help them along the journey. Why is that so important to you? As opposed to just meeting with somebody and really feel like you're not a good fit because you're not focused on the nutrition part. Would you still work with that person? Or will you really try to dig deep and build that relationship to really meet them where they are, to bring them along to where they need to go and meet their goals, as well as achieve things that they never even thought of? Why is that important?
Well, for anyone to be successful in anything, they have to have education, right? So even if it's entrepreneurship, you got to have some type of insight. You know, whatever it is that you're going out there in your life, you're a barber, right? Or right? So you have to go through the education phase of learning how to cut the hair, right? And so that's how you become successful. So that's the most important part, I think. And so let's just say, for instance, like we got a person that's trying to lose weight and it's not really healthy, right? The education part is like it's a couple different parts. It's the fitness part and then it's the health part, right? The fitness meaning the resistance training to look aesthetic, the muscles on the outside, how you look. And then it's also the internal side of things, right? And so that's the most important part, because if a person is out of shape and now they want to run and they want to do these exercises, now you got to think about, I'm accelerating my heart, which is pumping blood through arteries that can have a lot of plaque buildup. And so now we're putting more stress on the heart, which can cause things to go in the opposite direction, can be more counterproductive. And so I think once you educate a person on that, then they start to see things a little bit different. And then they say, you know what, I might need to take this nutrition part a little more serious than I have in the past. And so that's just the element on the health side of things. And then you have the resistance part, which is the fitness side of things.
Nice. So if somebody wants to connect with you and learn more about your process and the education part, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, you can go on the website. You can go to the Athletic Spa Nutrition website. So athleticspanutrition.com, right? And then, or you can go to Athletic Spa. That's the fitness side. And then the Athletic Spa Nutrition side is the health side.
Okay.
So either platform.
What should a person expect? Are they going to get on the phone with you? Are they going to do a consultation? They're going to fill out a form?
Yes. So most of the time, not to waste people's time, right? You set up. I always try to say you set up a way to kind of vet things, right? And so they fill out a form, see what their interests are, and then we can have a conversation. Or, well, I got to have a conversation with you to kind of see what's the best program for you, right? Because we cover a lot of different things. We cover detox, we cover nutrition, and then we cover different types of programs, fitness programs.
Okay. Kind of repeating a question that I asked earlier. You got the nutrition side.
Yes.
You have the fitness side and the
nutrition. Well, not all the same thing. So like the health part is just like nutrition, detox, mental, mindset, everything, you know? That's like the health part, and the physical part is just, the Athletic Spa website. That's more of like, if you're trying to figure out what type of program you're trying to go into, whether it's resistance training, whether it's weight loss training, whether it's a specialty like boxing, stuff like that. So
is it any one of those, whether it was the nutrition or the fitness, was it any, or the mental part, the supplements that you have, the food that we eat, was it anyone that you may have not had a part of your life in the beginning that once it became a part of what you do, just help you in your journey just to really just take off?
yes. Yes.
Or has all of this always been a part of your journey from when you was young?
Well, yeah. So when we go back to the training part and just building the body, right? It was always how you can become better, right? And supplementation, right? What do you eat? What are you putting into your body, right? But it wasn't as important as a high school kid growing up. The nutrition part wasn't, and it wasn't as important on the collegiate level.
Right.
And so I had to ask myself, because I was a high school kid that was running a 4.3 40 and super fast, super strong for my size. And I had to ask myself, like, what was the major thing I felt that stopped me from really going to the next level? And I felt like it was the nutrition part, because I felt like I was demanding so much of my body on that level. I'm 166 pounds running as in people that's 200 and some pounds, right? So the body starts to break down. So it's like, how do I speed up my recovery? And so on that journey, I wasn't there mentally, right? Because I wasn't brought up that way. But when I sat down and asked myself these questions, that began another journey and understanding. And then when I had the opportunity to be a strength and conditioning coach within high school, then so now I'm back to where I began. And so now I'm really seeing it's like what hunted me years ago is still true today, that these high school kids will go to a camp, leave the camp I was at and go to another camp, but they wouldn't eat. Or they'll come to my camp and not eat. And so I was like, man, we can be running these kids into the ground, right? Because we're not focused on it. But they're young, but that's not necessarily true, because now you see professional athletes that spend millions of dollars on their health and nutrition. And so this has been a game changer, not only for me, but the people I come in contact with as well.
Yeah. Just to piggyback off something you just said, how important is it for people to be able to self-assess and really be able to ask deep questions or do you feel like some people won't even have that ability to self-assess until they have someone in their life to kind of show them something different? Like, is it important for somebody to ask themselves deep questions, or is it important for someone to kind of be like a model, or do they work hand in hand, in your opinion?
I think it's very important. I think it's very important to have conversations with yourself, right? What's even more important is not lying to yourself. And so a lot of times we get into that. And so we'll say we want to do something, and just because we haven't told anyone else, we can just like sweep it under the rug. And so we develop this relationship when we start, it's okay to lie to ourselves. And so that's one instance, right? And then there's another one where the voice in your head, you have to realize if that's a negative voice or if it's a positive voice. And that's when you have to learn how to change that. Because if you're saying it's an opportunity to come, but you're like, oh man, that's not for me, your excuse is the first thing you come up with, then you're right, it's not for you. But you have to understand that you have to, because you want good things for yourself, right? And so you have to change that voice and change it from that negative to more of a positive thing. And so I always tell people, when it comes to your emotion, you have to learn how to remove yourself from that emotion and to kind of like just look at it for what it is and to be able to see it and to be able to move past it. So me asking myself that, it didn't come from an angry place. It came from a place of I wanted the best for myself, and I wanted to know why I wasn't receiving that or achieving that. And so I was just having a conversation, and it was just like, man, it's like we're gonna have to change some things. And I think a lot of people come into those places where people get fed up with a lot of different things, and they have these conversations with themselves. Like, man, I gotta change, I gotta do something totally different. But when you have that conversation, you have that emotion that says, okay, I wanna make this change, you got to hold on to that. You got to really hold on to that emotion and not let it be like it's emotion for now and then it's gone, right? You got to, whatever it is dear to you and you hold on to, you have to have that same attachment to when you make that decision. Almost like burn that bridge and like, I have no choice but to go after what I just said to myself. I have to go do that.
That's good. Fitness, health, getting in shape. Is it for everyone?
Wellness is for everyone. It's here for everyone, right? That's when you look at the food was designed for us, healthy food, not fast food.
Right.
But, produce, it was designed for us to be healthy, right? So it's not only this group of people have it. That's how it was originally intended. So it's for everyone.
Yeah. What about the person that feels like it's been many years since they've been active? They feel way too heavy, way too out of shape, and they just feel like there's no hope for them. So they might, they're about to die anyway. So They might as well just live their life doing what they want to do.
Well, I would say that that can be totally true. If they feel that way, that can be totally true. And that goes back to really having that conversation with yourselves. Because I can have a conversation with you about changing your life, but if you don't feel that way internally, they go in one ear and out the other ear. So, but I would tell a person this: as long as you have air in your lungs and your heart is beating, you have an opportunity to change. But it's up to you to make that change. It's not for me to make that change for you.
So,
And that's just the honest truth.
so is it safe to say, like, you'll push someone where they need to go, but you're not going to keep dragging them and pulling them if they don't want it?
It's easy to motivate the motivated, right? But it's hard to pull heavy weight, right? Again, I can say amazing things, but if you don't believe it, my years of personal training, the people that were successful was the people that really wanted it, right? Could I help a person change over time? Absolutely, just by planting seeds. But it's still up to them to take heed. It's like me designing a detox, a nutrition plan. Like, I can give you everything, right? And people will still not take heed to it. And I'm pretty sure you done had conversations with people many a times when you was like, man, I was trying to tell them, I was giving them this information, but they didn't take heed to it. That's in anything and everything. So, yeah, man, they just you have to want it. You have to want to change. Like they say, no one's gonna come save you. No one's gonna come save you. I can put it here. I can put it here for you. That's my job. And I always tell people, like, I'm in the business of telling people the truth. Like, I have to tell you, if you wanna learn how to do this, I'm gonna tell you, this is how you do it, right? But I'm only with you for an hour out of the whole day.
Right.
That's I'm at an unfair advantage already. So if you're not gonna take heed to it and do it on your own, that's just the truth.